got it. You can kick it off, Will.
Okay, for sure. Now, Sean Freeman, hailing from Trotwood, Ohio, CEO, founder of Camp Central, which is an app that helps high school football athletes find college football camps. So, been doing this work. Started on this journey in 2012 is
Okay.
when I birthed the idea, but formally and start to engage in pitch competitions and really became a business in 2020. So
Okay.
for about 2 years now, just rocking it strong. You can find us in the App Store, on in the Google Play Store, and really just looking to change the game, man, and help student athletes find what they need all in one place.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So what initially sparked the idea? I know you said it came in 2012. What was the initial spark behind it?
Man, so initially, so I went to school, played ball, Division II ball, for a couple years, and then went down south to Alabama State, where I and ended up graduating from. But in the process of that, I tore my ACL. Just had to go a different route, really. I thought I was going to be able to walk on at Alabama State, but things were a lot different there. It's real competitive. And went into the walk-on meeting, and they told me, "Hey, we'll see you next year." Like, they had everybody raise their hand, if you couldn't play that year, if you weren't good for clearinghouse. And I was one of the ones. I raised my hand. They said, "All right, we'll see you next year." So um, from that point, man, I just realized, like, man, I have to find a different way to pay for school. I have to think of some other way to get out. Facebook was becoming pretty big. Mark Zuckerberg as a person was, becoming big for the technology that he created, and just really got me to thinking about how could I change the experience for student athletes from the one that I had. My coach was blessed with playing in the league, having a lot of great relationship with other coaches to where, man, we could go to different camps and, we might get in for a certain price, or just knowing about these camps that a lot of my peers in our conference or, just around the greater Dayton area, they didn't have. So it led me to begin to think and look at, Rivals, Scout.com, and just the different platforms that were available. And I didn't see any that were available for mainly for student athlete content, for them
Right.
to divulge, for us to find all of the camps for one in one place that we might want to go to. But along with that, just some different resources to help us become better as student athletes. That wasn't something that I saw. It was mainly, engaging for recruiters to find the athletes, or
Right.
coaches to get better on their game, but nothing really for a student athlete to be the best that they could be from head to toe.
Right. And so dive a little deeper into what when the athlete gets on the platform, what are some of the things that they're going to be using and seeing?
So first you'll be prompted to create a profile, and upon there your profile is where you can engage with the content. You can like and favorite different camps, different resources and videos. So it's broken down, sorry, into three different um, avenues. The first avenue being camps. Currently, we have Oberlin College's camp that's coming up here, Oberlin College in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
You can search and filter through the camps by state, division,
Mm-hmm.
and even HBCU or not, because I know that matters.
Right.
HBCU on the rise, by date. Um, Upon clicking the camp, it'll take you to the camp's registration page where you can then register and attend the camp. Also on that camp page, though, it tells you all the details that you would need to be able to register for the camp beforehand. You'll see how far away it is, where it's mapped at, all of those good things. And our resources page is much more somewhat lifestyle content of an athlete. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of the articles that we pick out of there from the Players Tribune. So diving into an athlete's mind, we have our most recent article from T. Higgins, on his experience going into the Super Bowl and what that meant from him.
Right.
His perspective coming from LSU. A lot of content stemming from Clemson football. They do a great job with their vlogs, just showing, what it's like in the day in the life of a Clemson Tiger. And that's something, that it's growing and it's big, but especially for our black and brown babies, I don't know if that's something I don't know if that's the content that we're taking in all the time. I want to make
Right.
trendy content. And then lastly is videos, and that's much more for the player performance piece. So a lot of videos that help towards training,
Okay.
faster, getting better. What are some different diets that you can have? So really tapping into actual things that player can watch. They can watch that video, mimic it, and go out and make it happen and get better for that camp. As camp
Right.
season is approaching, some different 40 techniques, some different bench press techniques, some different, off the ball hand techniques for, the big guys. So that's how it's broken up.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, is this free to the athlete?
Yes, it's
Okay.
free to the athlete, recruiter, and coach and parent.
Okay. Okay. And so, do you like bring on partners to work with your app, or like how does that work?
So I do have a partner right now to help with the actual development side. I've never been a coder. I have a buddy or a company rather, a friend, a company that I work with, and they handle that aspect of it. They handle the actual code side of it. I'm just the brains behind the code. Um,
Gotcha. And now, so as far as the app, are there are there any sponsorships or things like that? Like how do you with the content and things of that nature? Is that something that you all are doing or looking to do?
Definitely looking to do. We would love to sponsor, a camp and vice versa. We were looking to have our first camp more so next year, but in the interim, definitely looking to work with different camps who, need to get there, or different colleges, different camps, because there are camps that, are run as a sole business who need to get their business out there.
Gotcha,
And we
gotcha.
have
And
talked to
so
some
like
before.
what's that?
Yeah, we have talked to some before as well.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And just so with the business model, so basically you're connecting the account and then you have the recruit that is on the other side of it and you're making that connection, correct?
Yep. And then we're free, turned into a freemium model, but our big thing is ads. So ads, probably to answer your question, that's where the app becomes sustainable, or the app
Gotcha.
we have on the app.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. And so, what about as far as the college? Like, was there a benefit for different college coaches to bring their camp on there?
Yes, we'll have a code that we can create, and once that code is used, it's a discount for the athlete, and of course, making it more attractive for the athlete to join and want to be a part of that camp.
Gotcha,
Be a
gotcha. And so, what have you seen? Because I play basketball and not football, but on the football side, what have you seen was the biggest area of opportunity for when the kids are looking to go, like when they're choosing a camp?
The biggest opportunity that I've seen from the app,
Yeah.
or yeah, from the app. it's to be able to just find everything right there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of camps, a lot of kids will take that information, and then reach out to their respective college coach, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're also taking in those drills. And there are a lot of them. I try to gear some things to eliminate excuses. So a lot of drills that they can work and use, right there in their backyard or on their football field, if they don't have teammates or what have you to work with.
Right.
But the main thing I've seen is just the fact that all of them are housed right there. Uh,
Right.
it's very tough to find, right now if you just type in uh, Ohio football camps or Ohio college football camps, a myriad of things, will pop up. But not except for Camp Central, can you find all of them right there and filter by which camp you want to go to, filter by location or state.
Yep, and no, and I think it's also big. You mentioned earlier just about like HBCUs and making sure that you're able to categorize those and have people that want to have to be able to go to those camps actually be able to attend those and have some information on it. So I think that's big.
Definitely, definitely, man. With the rise of HBCUs, it's something important for our kids to see because myself, the how HBCU is housed right here in Ohio, one of the only or the only one with the football team. They didn't recruit me, nor did I, solicit them. And if I would have had this app and been able to see all of the camps that are in Ohio, they pop up on my radar. Now I'm reaching out. It just sparks that thought, and more, it sparks that action. You see, the camp is only $35 or so. It's like,
Right, right,
why wouldn't I want to go ball out
right.
HBCU?
Right, and then like you said, just from a standpoint of like HBCUs being able to get out there, like the more they're able to help people know about it, which your app does, like that's a direct correlation of being able to increase the attendees of the camp. Now, have you been able to see the data and see if there's been an uptick in interest in HBCUs?
Um, that's something we haven't monitored per se, but I have seen like we have some campers who have landed offers from HBCUs off of there.
Gotcha.
Then the content, I would say indirectly. I haven't directly looked and filtered that, but indirectly definitely so. Because I'm lenient towards even the content that we post on our social media towards HBCUs, and I
Right,
know if a lot of times until Dion just recently kind of started his started the spiral, of celebrity, head coaches in the HBCU sports.
right,
That's not something that's pulling up on their feed on Rivals or 24
right, right.
Sports. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
we were definitely a hub for that, and kids were definitely engaging. So I'll say yes. I can see it, but we've been from the start, so I don't think it's been any rise or fall. I would say it's been
Right, right.
steady interest.
Now you talked about the the ability to for them to get some type of training to like leading into the camp, right? So being able to go onto the app and see that training. Are you partnering with any like trainers for those like drills and stuff like that, or like how who's creating that content?
All the content right now we're pulling from. The goal is definitely to have it be an individual, who would create that content, specified for an athlete.
For your app? Yeah.
Definitely, definitely for the app, and then being able to even get to messaging and reaching out, directly to the trainers, through the app.
Right,
It's a myriad of things that we can do with it for sure.
right.
Just continuing to grow and build to where we can do those things.
Right. And now is that just a like for scaling purposes, like right? So is that a a matter of just tech and reaching that level of scale, or is it do you have to get to a certain point where it makes sense for you to start scaling that way?
I would say both. I would definitely say both. I think the tech portion first, because that requires funding, a lot
Yep.
of times. So
Right.
my ideas always tend to run a bit faster than,
Right.
the funding or the team aspect can go. But that will be first. If we can solidify that and solidify, a solid second round of funding, would be good.
Gotcha. And I had a previous for people who watched before. We had a couple of venture capital episodes. So you said you just finished your first round of funding?
Yeah, a micro first round, but
Okay.
first plus.
Okay. Cool. And so now you're talk to me about that process, because I know you said you've done some pitch competitions. Like, how's that been going?
Man, it's been going pretty well. It's been going pretty well. I think the dopest part about it, about the experience, is the fact that everyone I speak to, white, black, brown, or whatever race, whatever age, they always tell me it's an idea, is something that they've never heard before. It always kind of raises an eyebrow, causes a lot more questions, to come into play. So the feedback has been great. I think the main thing is really just time and buckling down to, getting it going. I'm in grad school right now and still,
Gotcha.
have a full-time job, but nonetheless, so I'm able to see what the other side is like, once I have a little bit more time, what it'll be like. But in the meantime, man, it's been great. It's really been something that has caught wind and caught interest from prep schools, caught interest from another app, who pitched me and really, wanted to buy the company, but couldn't go that way. Now,
Right, right, right.
I
So
have.
is the I are you sticking to football, or is it is it eventually going to go to other sports, or what's that like?
Football for now.
Okay,
Football,
gotcha.
it's such
Yeah,
a such
such a
a
broad. It's,
you
it's big
man.
enough to keep it
It's a
keep it
big.
at football.
And honestly speaking, man, I pick most of or we pick most of the camps, like it's still hand picked ourselves. So we don't have automated. We don't have that tech yet to where, if a new camp is posted, like say the University of Cincinnati, as soon as they post theirs, ideally it would just, hit the app and we could
Right.
just let people know.
Gotcha, gotcha. And so, what's that process like? Are you just building relationships with athletic directors, coaches? Like, how do you get that information on all the different camps that are? Because I know you said they're handpicked. Like, how does that process work?
So some are manual, but others are definitely working with athletic directors. A lot of cold emails, a lot of cold, leads, but a good amount of warm leads as well. So there's been a good feedback from some coaches and just letting them know, that the app is available and just send the reminders around this season when the new camps are being posted, just reminding them that, here it is and here it goes. And a lot of times they'll even, reach out to us and let us know that it's on the way and that it's
Right.
coming. And sometimes we can be first to beat the punch to a lot of other folks.
Gotcha. Now, is there any I know you said you're doing the freemium model, right? But is there a subscription based uh product or on the way, like being that you do have a lot of these different offerings for them?
It would definitely, it will be for cheap, discounted price for. That's what the subscription model will be, is for discounted price for camps.
Gotcha.
There's so many camps to attend, you know, and each one of them have their own cost to it, and they vary, and they aren't cheap, you know, and they begin
Right.
to up. But that, so being able to take some of that cost off for a camper, you know, for a kid who might want to attend, say, 3 camps, and he can attend it for $10 lower for each one.
Right.
That's huge, man. I know mommy and daddy gonna love
Right. For sure.
it,
For
sure, because
sure. For
being a
sure.
full time or just student athlete, you don't have a job typically. You know, it's very.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So, what's along this journey? Like, have you had somebody that like just kind of inspired you, and on that way?
Yeah, I would definitely say, uh, of course, first and foremost, always family. You know,
Yeah.
family always is a big one. Outside of that, I would say my high school coach, funny enough, who I didn't, I don't feel like I had the greatest relationship with him going throughout high school, but
Right.
after graduating, you know, I could really see what he was instilling in us as a team and us as men, you know, just more
Right.
than so. Definitely a big shout out to Coach Doug down in Springfield. And even now, you know, I would hands down biggest supporter. You know, he still sends a ton of kids to school, you know, nonstop. But he's always just, if I need an ear, or just having that support has been huge.
Gotcha. What would you say is one of the biggest things you've learned throughout this process? Because I know it's been a long journey. So, what's one of the biggest things you learned?
Staying consistent. Staying consistent and realizing that as long you keep your head down, you know,
Hmm.
and keep it forward, and the people will follow. It's just the followers, everything, you know, they'll come with you as they see you continue to move. Because a lot of times either they won't be ready, or you might not be ready. But if you stop, you'll never meet them, or never meet where you're supposed to go. You
Right.
know, so just staying steadfast in the journey and continue to set benchmarks and look at, you know, where you are and see checking that growth. I'm huge on, you know, OKRs and just seeing where we've grown month to month as far as users go, in this case, and just always seeing that growth, being able to pivot when need be, but continuing to go nonetheless. You know, it's a marathon, not a race. So.
Yeah. No, that's definitely important because even when you talk about being able to pivot, like I think that understanding that in conjunction with the consistency is probably really big for like anybody who's going to be in business is because you have to be able to pivot and understand where that pivot is going to take you without being conflicted and getting discouraged, right? So I think that's pretty big.
Nah, definitely, man, definitely, because it's gonna require a pivot. You know, it's gonna
Yeah.
require you to move one way or another. As long as it's forward, as long as it steps forward, you're good to go. So I know I've definitely had to take a few in this case. You know, just whether it be changing from a different app that we use, a different coder that we might have on the team, or even a way or style that I check or do things. But the main thing is to keep going.
Yep. Yep. Now, do you have like any stories of like where you had some down moments and you had to pull yourself back out of it?
Man, for sure. Biggest down moment easily was when the my developer let me know that it was a wrap on, like, you know, he wasn't doing no more coding. Shook, struck, you know, like couldn't figure it out, like as far as what I was doing. That was easily the lowest moment, just because,
Right.
you know, I had no coding experience. But um and I didn't know exactly, you know, what I was going to do in that instance. But uh, just things worked out. You know, I continued on and continued to press on, and was able to find someone and find a team. But you know, to that point, I kept going because it was a dark 3 months while the app wasn't making any updates, you know, and it can feel real long in that time, you know. Those three
Right.
months feel like forever. I heard Steve Harvey recently say how you know, you had good days and you had bad days, and we can all, like he said, but as far as the bad days, as long as you wake up, you 100% against them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You beat every bad day that
Everybody who's alive has 100% success rate of beating bad days.
yeah,
That was definitely a dope interview.
for sure.
Yep.
So
So I know we're coming up on our time, but I definitely want to give you an opportunity to close out, tell the people anything that you want them to know about that's coming up for you, or where you see the app going in the future.
definitely, man. Coming up, just stay on the lookout for the camps that are to come. Stay on the lookout for some partnerships with different companies, there are different colleges that are around the way. And if you know, are a VC or someone that is looking to grow your portfolio as it pertains to college football athletes or high school football athletes, definitely be in touch with us soon.
All right, sounds good. I definitely appreciate you coming on. We'll definitely put out all the information for the app. Make sure everybody knows about it, and we'll go from there.
Definitely appreciate you for having me.
All right, see y'all later.